Hey, what's up? This is Gardetrace, and they've just erased our favorite GodTuber. Universe 10 has now followed in the footsteps of Universe 9. They have now been erased from existence. So, our favorite GodTuber, Goasu, he's no longer gonna be able to pursue his career. It's like he was trying to get as many views as he can, and then he just up and gets erased. You know what? This is actually quite ironic because, well, Lilybo of Universe 10 was the first to be eliminated, and she was eliminated by Basil of Universe 9. So the teams to have the first person to be eliminated, as well as the person to eliminate them, are actually the first two teams to be erased from existence. So these two teams, especially Universe 9, they didn't last at all. However, something has been brought to my attention. After reading the comments that were posted in my previous video, someone actually made a very valid point. When it comes to the universe survival arc, the biggest mistake that this arc could have done was reveal the stakes before the arc had ever even started. How long have we known the stakes of this arc? How long have we known what was ultimately gonna happen before we even got to this arc? Because put it this way, it was around the beginning of the year when we were learning of this new arc anyway. As a matter of fact, what was the first video I posted this year? It was talking about the universe survival arc. That was way back in January. That was the first week of January, and then in February, that's when the universe survival arc had started, and then I was already, talking about it. So for all of this time we've already known, and the arc itself does not even begin until June. We don't actually get to the tournament part of the arc until June. So all of this time, we've already known what was going to happen. So like the marketing for this arc was a complete fuck up because you've already revealed what was going on. So with us knowing that the universes are going to be erased from existence, with us knowing that all of the losers are going to be erased from existence, that is what makes this arc such a major drag right now. The fact that no one is taking it seriously. The participants, they're all could potentially be erased from existence, yet they're worried about a transformation sequence. They're worried about 3 magical girls not being interrupted. That is what is currently on their list of priorities. Because quite frankly, when it comes to the tournament itself, it has been nothing more than the characters essentially dicking around. There's been a whole lot of dicking around, no real indication that anyone is really all that concerned that they're about to be erased. And then we showcase Universe 9 being erased, and that was like the one moment where we say, okay, they're serious. They're not lying about this. And then you see the devious look on the Daishinkan's face. However, that still doesn't seem to matter because you still have characters, especially Goku, who's been doing nothing more than just dicking around this whole tournament, holding back, letting characters who he should easily overpower kick his ass, and doing a bunch of stupid shit that, no one would do when the fate of their universe is on the line. And another thing that really made this arc a major mistake is the fact that, we're introducing over 80 characters who are going to be taking part in this tournament. However, these are a bunch of characters that we mostly don't give a fuck about. These are basically a whole bunch of jabronis in this tournament. You can't flesh them all out. There are too many characters to get all that much focus. That's why there's so many characters you see, they get eliminated and no one gives it a second thought because no one gives a fuck about these characters. And also, when you think of like everything, especially leading up to the tournament, there should have been, of course, a lot more of everyone, really, wanting to spend time with their loved ones before, of course, they would be ultimately entering this tournament, because, this could potentially be the last time that they ever see them. But that's really not the case, as this tournament has just been nothing more than characters doing a whole lot of bullshitting. This is how they should have done the tournament. All they should have done was just say that this is a tournament simply to, impress Zen-o. Like, we would, after Zen-o had witnessed the tournament between Universe 6 and 7, he was impressed, so he wanted to get everyone in on it. And then the idea is just simply to impress Zen-o. Show him what you got. And that's it! That's all they should have done. That is really what they should have done. Because, well, from what we've seen in this tournament, you would think that this is a tournament with no stakes. Because, of course, if it's a tournament simply to, put on a good show for Zen-o, that's all that they should have went into this arc thinking that they'd be doing. Just go in and just give Zen-o the best show possible. That's all that they really should have even revealed about this arc. Not because Zen-o was very impressed after seeing the Zen exhibition match as well, because this is where the Zen-o from Future Trunks' timeline, he got to witness the tournament because he didn't get to see the one with Universe 6 and 7. So it was just simply a matter of, hey, we want what we saw in the Zen exhibition match, just on a much larger scale. That's really what they should have focused on. That way, it would be more so justified that the tone wouldn't be so serious, because no one's really going to think that Zen-o's going to erase them. Because, and especially considering most characters don't even know who the fuck Zen-o are. Only the gods know who Zen-o is. And of course, the gods themselves, they'd be worried because, they want to put on the best show. They want to impress Zen-o. So that would be the whole reasoning on why the gods would look scared, because, the gods are scared of Zen-o's very presence. So when it comes to putting on a show for Zen-o, that would be increasingly more intimidating for them. And of course, Beerus would be scared as fuck when Majin Buu falls asleep, because Buu's fight with Basil was the most impressive fight of the Zen exhibition match, so they'd be missing out on a major star player with Buu's absence, so this is where Beerus would get desperate, so Goku suggests bringing Frieza in. So that's all we could really do. So that way, during this arc itself, we could focus on just the characters pretty much having fun. Because, this is a tournament where there's no major stakes going on here. This is supposed to be this could have been like a tournament where they could have advertised it like, alright, this is a tournament, like, you guys are trying to impress Zen-o, perhaps there's a prize at the end, Yes, do say something about, the Super Dragon Balls, which that is the prize of this tournament, but don't mention anything else about this tournament, especially considering the overall tone of this tournament has not been very serious at all. So If this was a tournament where we thought there would have been no stakes involved, it would have justified the tone of this arc so far. Because when it comes to the tournament right now, like, they do know that they're going to be erased from existence. However, we have magical girls coming in, and we decide to just have everyone suddenly forget or blatantly just not give a fuck about the fact that they're in a tournament to determine if they get erased from existence or not. So if this was a tournament where everyone is just simply having fun, then it would have been more justified for them to let the magical girls transform simply because they're curious and want to test out their power. So if that's what you guys wanted to do, especially to make what 17 did look like a dick move, that's what you should have done. And then, like, let's say, for example, the tournament is going on, time is passing, people are getting eliminated, and then we get to possibly, like, the last stretch of the tournament. Like, let's say, for example, we're down to the last 10 minutes, or we're down to maybe the last 30 fighters. At that point of time, that would have been a good opportunity for, like, the Daishinkan to come up, and he makes an announcement of what's gonna happen to the losing universes at this point. This is where he would come up and say that the losing universes are to be erased from existence, to just completely drop a bombshell on everyone right in the midst of everything. And then as an example of this, we take Universe 9, who were the first team to be eliminated, and erase them from existence simply to show an example of what's gonna happen. Simply to make an example out of them, but have this happen at a later point instead of right away, like how it actually happens. Because at that point, this is where the tone should turn dead serious, because they just saw a universe wiped from existence before their very eyes. This is where the characters would see that it's not just all fun and games, and it would go from friendly competition to a battle for survival, and it would have been so much better to save this reveal for later on. No more waiting around for transformation sequences. No more goofing off or holding back. This is the time where all the characters should come in and go for broke. They could have done this in a way, like, let's say, other tournaments within the series. Like, let's take the Majin Buu saga. Now, they're, of course, entering a tournament. There's no stakes involved. It's just, friendly competition. There's no issues if you lose the tournament, but then these weird guys such as Sapovich start appearing, and then we also see this really mysterious man who turns out to be the Supreme Kai. And then once we see Sapovich just completely hand Videl her ass, just beat her into the ground, and then we have Spopovich and the other guy come in to stab Gohan and take all of his energy. That's where we see, okay, we have just completely subverted our expectations of this just being a friendly competition, and we see that there's something bigger at stake, which is where they go off, and then they see that Majin Buu is about to be revived, which in turn brings all of the stakes in this arc, as we have this Eldritch Abomination who is going to be released by this wizard, and he's going to cause the ultimate destruction of the universe. So it's like, it goes from being something that is just lighthearted and not to really be taken seriously to something becoming dead serious. Or like, let's say, for example, during Dragon Ball, when we had the second Tenkaichi Budokai of the series. After it, You know, we have Ten Shinhan, he's the winner, and then it seems like there's nothing bad that's happened now that the tournament is over. And then Goku, he goes to find that Krillin had been murdered. And then he sees that this new evil in the form of King Piccolo has been released. And then that right there would create the stakes of this arc. Because you directly see someone being killed right when you think that there's nothing to worry about. That's how you subvert the viewer's expectations. What we're seeing here, based on what we see no indication of the characters about to be erased from existence simply from the way that they're acting. If we didn't see Universe 9 or 10 being erased from existence, we would have no reason to really think that. We would have no reason to think that, and that would be the best strategy to really just drop a bombshell on everyone as opposed to reveal everything about the ramifications of what happened if you lose right at the beginning, because that just completely fucks with the overall tone that this series is supposed to have, and it fucks with any sort of investment that I'm supposed to have within it. Because the characters aren't really concerned with the fact that they're going to be erased. The characters don't really seem to have it hardwired into their heads yet. They don't seem to be able to get it through those thick skulls of theirs. So really, revealing right from the get-go that the universes would be erased was the worst idea that they could have had. It would have been much better to save the reveal of this for much later. Especially, don't show it to us before we actually get to the arc. Let the previous arc finish before you start revealing things about the next arc we are going to go into. So we have spent 6 months waiting for this tournament to start with this in mind. We've already known what was going to happen, but instead of enhancing the story, instead of enhancing the drama, all it has simply done was fuck up the entire execution of this entire arc, because the characters, they clearly don't give a fuck based on their actions. So as far as I'm concerned, they are not giving us any reason to invest in these characters. First of all, you guys were all these characters were all introduced to us at once. So as far as I'm concerned, you guys are all totally expendable. And now that I see just how nonchalant you are about being erased, well then guess what? I have absolutely zero fucks to give about you. So what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also like and subscribe for more content to come. So with that being said, that'll be the end of this video. Have a good day everyone. This is Trace signing out.